live stream here on my phone. So we're just going to see how it goes, and we hope you can at least get a little something out of our worship service this morning. A little bit later, we will try and put a Zoom link into the description or into the comments so that you can join if you want to have a small group discussion, and we're just going to do our best. So thank you so much for being here. Happy worship. Oh, I think he has a stand. I'll have him bring it.
Okay. Okay.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Does that work?
I think so.
Okay. You can adjust it however you want.
try some new things. Worship today will be very different from what we normally do. So if you happen to be a visitor, I hope you'll come chat with Pastor Chrissy or me or someone else about what worship is normally like, what our services are usually like. But for now, as we gather here in the hall, I want to thank you all for your flexibility. Our projects are underway. The carpet is, I think, about halfway done, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. It's underway. And we hope to be back in the sanctuary really soon. It's not always easy to shift spaces, but this is a part of building something together. Today's worship will follow a conversation church model, and I'll explain this a little bit later about why this is so essential for this time. But first, we do have some quick announcements. The first is that if you're sitting here thinking, I can't hear anything, you're not alone. We do have a group that's meeting over here in the Manzanita room. It's just right through here. And they're doing a small group study parallel to what we're doing in here. So if you need to go, please go. Don't be embarrassed. Just to get right up, walk over there. And they're going to do a whole separate amazing thing. So right through those doors over there. And Rick's standing there in the hallway waiting for you. So yeah, that's your permission to go now, or you can go at any point, but they're going to get started now. So if you want to go, you should go now.
We're not kicking you out, just letting you know.
Not picking you out, just if you want a different path, it's right through that space. It's much easier to hear in that room over there. Also, if you're like, I don't like people, that's also a good thing. After worship today, we will have our monthly potluck. Even if you didn't bring a dish to share, please bring yourself. There's always plenty of food to go around, so we'll kind of just stay right here in this space. You don't even really have to move, so we'll be right here in this hall. We also had plans to have a baby shower for the Ares family, but as many of you heard, the baby came early. While the celebration won't happen exactly as we had planned, we still will take all the gifts and the funds and the gift cards over to them after church. Thank you for your generosity and rolling with two punches. Baby Sharon. Named came this week, and it's just about as cute as can be. We do have a rosebud here on the altar to honor baby Sharon. Over the next several weeks, we'll be supporting the Ares family. Instead of a meal train, we're kind of doing something a little different. We're asking for folks to sign up to be on call for errands and support help. Aaron has a sign-up sheet. This could look like they ran out of baby wipes and they need someone to run a Target. This could look like they need a doctor's appointment run. Any number of errands that might come up. So if you have a little extra time in your schedule, you can see Ann and sign up. Just because you sign up doesn't mean you're committing yourself in stone. It's just you'll be on the list to be called. All right, what else do we have? We have a big service coming up on February 23rd, which will be in the sanctuary. Got it. And we're going to be dedicating our new church, Live Oak United Church of Christ. So that'll be at 3 p.m. on February 23rd. It's going to be a huge party. We've got good food. We've got good music. It's going to be just a blowout party. So we hope you'll be here. Did I forget anything? No. All right. Plugging along. Our theme in worship in this space this morning is I've been meaning to ask. This series invites us into relationship building and deeper connections, helping to strengthen our capacity for empathy and compassion, something we all desperately need in the world right now. And so as we begin our worship service today, let us hear this poem entitled, We Are Not Strangers, by the Reverend Sarah R. Speed. If you ask me where I'm from, I'll tell you about the South, about sweet tea, church pews, slow drawls, and sultry summers. And if you pause, then I may go on to tell you how I'm from a family of preachers, how I stand on the shoulders of generations who believed that love could be the answer. And if you're still listening, even then, I'll tell you that I'm from strong women, with tall spines who have carried the weight of inequality on their backs, with children on their laps. And then I'll tell you about the kitchens where I'm from, which always have enough cooked for unexpected guests, just in case. Or I can tell you about the car that carried us into the mountains summer after summer so that we could breathe again. That's part of where I'm from. And if you haven't given up yet, then I may even mention the dirt, the earth that catches me, the earth that holds me, the earth that reminds me of growth, the earth that will eventually welcome me home. You and I really aren't strangers after all. Let us worship together. Hi, we have Team Glee. Helping with music. So we're going to be singing Spirit of the Living God. We're singing it 2 times, and the words are in your bulletin, so you don't have to look for any of those because there aren't
Okay? So we're going to see the people of the town, and we're going to see another no real trees. They only have electric trees. And there's another guy in this clip. He's the guy who runs the company that sells the electric trees. And in, capitalistic way, he also sells cans of air. It's really good, guys. You should watch it. Okay, so we're going to watch it together. Go ahead, David.
But the man inside, I'm just your hand in every guy. But it seems like trees might be worth a try. So I say,
Maybe mute the sound.
church. It says, let it grow, let it grow. You can't reap what you don't sow. We talk a lot about reaping and sowing in the Bible, but do you guys know what it means to reap? Or let's start with sowing. Do you know what it means to sow? Yeah? What's it mean? You can sew clothes, yes. Yeah, that one's spelled different, but yeah, it's one of those weird words. It means a lot of things. This one means to plant something. That would be much easier if we just said to plant something, right? You can't reap what you don't plant. Doesn't make a good time. So, what does it mean to reap? Ooh. Okay, yes. So, to destroy, not quite, but kind of, okay? So when you reap, you're harvesting. So if, like, there are some plants that you harvest by cutting them completely down. Like if you're harvesting wheat, you would cut down the whole plant. But if you're harvesting corn, you could just get the ears of corn. If you're harvesting like fruit, like you could reap the peaches off the tree, right? So you're gonna like get the fruit or the good things off of it. So there are things that we want to reap, to harvest in the world. We want to make these things more in the world, right? And some of them are foods. We want lots of strawberries. At least in our house we do. What are things that you guys like that grow? Yeah. Grapes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Apples. Love it. Okay. But now we're going to think metaphorical. Okay? What is something that we want to grow more of in the world? Not a plant, but like love. Peace.
Was I not giving enough attention?
Some other things. Compassion. Kindness. Yeah. Anything else?
Empathy.
Empathy. Oh, these are so good. There are so many beautiful things that we want to grow in the world. And today, I'm having you guys lead the way here with watching our video because I was like, this is a great metaphor for what we're going to do. We are going to work on nurturing the seeds that we want to see grow in the world. We're going to work on nurturing kindness and empathy and love and connection and community and relationships by having church in here and being adaptable and flexible. There are so many beautiful things that we can start to grow in the world, and we can start growing them right here in our church. So let's say a prayer together. Dear God, thank you for this church. Thank you for giving us the seeds of the beautiful things we want to grow in the world. Make us a community that waters and nourishes love and empathy and kindness and justice and relationships and peace so that they grow abundantly in our world. Thank you for each of these young people. May they know that they are blessed and they are deeply loved. Amen. And if you would like to go with Miss Aiden now, you can go to Sunday school. She's all the way across the hall there.
Raise your
And
hand.
there's any other young people who want to join her, go right ahead.
I know a bunch of you.
Okay, our next hymn is Covenant of Grace, and you can find that on the back of your
At the time when Yahweh made the heavens and the earth, there was still no wild bush on the earth, nor any wild plant sprung up. For Yahweh had not yet sent rain to the earth, and there was no human being to till the soil. Instead, a flow of water would well up from the ground and irrigate the soil. So Yahweh fashioned an earth creature out of the clay of the earth and blew into its nostrils the breath of life. And the earth creature became a living being. Then Yahweh took the earth creature and settled it in the Garden of Eden, so that it might cultivate and care for the land. The next day, John was by the Jordan again, and two of his disciples, seeing Jesus walk by, John said, "Hey, look, there's the Lamb of God." The two disciples heard what John said and followed Jesus. When Jesus turned around and noticed them following, he asked them, "What are you looking for?" And they replied, "Rabbi," which means teacher. "Where are you staying?" Rabbi, which means teacher, "where are you staying?" "Come and see," Jesus answered. So they went to see where he was staying, and they spent the rest of the day with him. It was about 4 p.m. One of the two who had followed Jesus after hearing John was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. The first thing Andrew did was to find Simon Peter and say, "Hey, we found the Messiah," which means the anointed one. Andrew brought Simon to Jesus, who looked hard at him and said, "You are Simon Ben-Jonah." "You are Simon Ben-Jonah, and I will call you Rock." That is, Peter. The next day, after Jesus had decided to leave for Galilee, he met Philip and said, "Follow me." Philip came from Bethsaida, the same town as Andrew and Peter. Philip sought out Nathanael and said to him, "Hey, we found the one that Moses spoke of in the law, the one about whom the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, son of Mary and Joseph." "From Nazareth?" said Nathanael. "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" "Come and see," replied Philip. When Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him, he remarked, "This one is a real Israelite. There is no guile in him." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked him. And Jesus answered, "Before Philip even went to call you, while you were sitting under the fig tree, I saw you." "Rabbi," said Nathanael, "you're God's own. You're God's own. You're the ruler of Israel." Jesus said, "Do you believe just because I told you I saw you under the fig tree? You'll see much greater things than that." And Jesus went on to tell them, "The truth of the matter is, you will see heaven opened, and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the chosen one." Good luck with that. That's a bunch of stuff. No, I tried to make it legible.
A week ago, I'm gonna adjust this before I start.
It's not working. Someone who knows how to fix it. I don't.
There we go. Okay, thank you.
Don't touch it.
Just like move up here. Okay. A week ago, I got a call from an old friend from high school. I grew up in the Midwest, and this friend still lives in the Midwest. I haven't talked to her in years, but she's one of those friends that no matter how long it's been, we can always just pick up and connect. I almost didn't answer her call because I was doing some work, but the kids happened to be out of the house, and it was kind of the perfect time to have an adult conversation that wasn't interrupted. And so I paused my work, and I'm very grateful I did. After just a couple minutes of small talk, we opened up about how hard it feels to be human right now. She told me it was only a couple days after the inauguration that her partner, who is a U.S. citizen and whose parents are from Colombia, experienced a horrific racist verbal attack while out running an errand. In response, my friend said she decided to intentionally reach out to friends to strengthen relationships and build the community that she wants and needs to carry us through these difficult times. I replied, I agree 100%, and you're probably going to end up in my next sermon. This friend doesn't do organized religion, but she was okay with that. But the thing that she was doing, the thing she is yearning for, is exactly the thing that I had already begun to plan for worship today. In the last 2 weeks, some of you may have already experienced bullying, an increase in microaggressions, or outright racism linked to what's happening in our nation. Or maybe you've had loved ones tell you about them experiencing a verbal assault, a terrifying moment, a hateful slur based on race or gender or some other perceived difference. There are people who have been emboldened in their hatred and bigotry by the people holding the highest elected offices in our country. And if it hasn't come close to home for you yet, it will. I have several other examples, but we don't need to hear more about the hate and the fear. It is already palpable. Instead, what we need is to sow what we want to reap. We want a world where people care for one another, where people have mercy for one another, where we have unity through our diversity as we build communities that honor the belovedness of each person. To build that throughout our nation and in our world, we begin with the micro. We begin here, in this community gathered in this room. Just as Jesus began with gathering a community, gathering disciples, with people who yearn to see where God was at work in the world. Today, in this sacred time of worship, we nurture relationship and we build community. We start with a small question. Where are you from? First, we acknowledge that this question has been flung at some beloveds in this room from a place of hatred, fear, bigotry, or at best, ignorance. This can be a loaded question. And so we must be clear in our intention in asking the question. We ask this question to disrupt and release any assumptions we hold about others. We ask this question tenderly and with love and genuine curiosity. Some of those disciples who became foundational to our faith questioned where Jesus was from. The reply they received was full of grace. The reply to their question was an invitation to connection and relationship. Come and see. My hope for this time of worship is that we create a space for compassionate dialogue and a space for seeking the holy in one another. I'm going to invite you in a moment to form groups of about 4 people per group. So if your table's full, divide your table in half, do 2 groups at your table. Smaller is better, I promise. It would be great if you could group with someone that you want to get to know better. And if you happen to be at a table that is just your family or your very closest friends, maybe turn and join a new table. And we have an overflow section over here that could definitely use some more people to form those groups. This conversation, I promise, will be more meaningful if you take the risk to get to know someone new. And for our folks who are joining us online, I appreciate you braving this crazy world here. We're going to post a Zoom link for you if you would like to do this discussion.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. We're going to try to post a Zoom link for you. But we will not be restarting the live stream, so we love you and thanks for joining us. You're going to have about 20 from? And this question can mean so many different things. In your bulletin is a card with a variation on that question, something more specific that may be easier to answer. And there are 12 different cards. So folks in your group will have different questions than you, and you can pick which one you want to explore. Up here I have, what makes a place feel like home to you? What I hope you begin to hear and share is, what is your story? Where's home? What makes you you? Who are your people? Where is God calling you to come and see? And now I release you for 20 minutes conversation, and I'll let you know in about 2 minutes left. All right? I mean, you have 15 minutes. Sorry, I'm cutting it short. Okay, 15 minutes.
Before you post? Not. Oh, it did?
Yeah.
End it? How do I end? End?